we are in this together.
You have gifts that I don't have, and I have gifts that you don't have.
That we must see. Now is the time, because it's when we all get together that we will make the changes that we must make. We are the world.
Welcome to Malcolm and We, a streaming network bringing you news from around the world. And Malcolm and We is affiliated with We the World, who's a nonprofit organization that helps groups throughout the world, especially in this age of crisis, would I say. And today we'll take you to Tanzania. And Yana, take it over.
All right. Well, we're very lucky today to have our guest, Abdallah Mikulu, who's a Climate Reality Leadership Corps member from Tanzania, who teamed up with you in 2020. But first I want to say I became aware of Abdallah when I too became a member of the Climate Reality Leadership Corps. But back to Abdallah. They initiated a mangrove restoration and protection project, which is part of an ecosystem-based adaptation or nature-based solution. It consists of 4 parts: the establishment of nurseries and restoration of mangroves, regenerative farming to increase soil fertility, beekeeping, and the promotion of ecotourism. Through the restoration of mangroves and initiating income-generating projects for young people and women in the community, they aim to improve community livelihood. And this project is called Mazinagira Plus, which is a Swahili word that means environment. So welcome today, Abdallah. We're very lucky to have you. It took a little bit of work to get this all coordinated, but it finally worked out. So tell us about the project. Tell us about your life in Tanzania and what all you do.
Thank you, Jana and Malcolm, for this kind of opportunity for welcoming this show. It's real honor, and I'm really excited to talk with you this afternoon or night. In other places, maybe morning.
It's nighttime for you.
Yeah, so the technology helped us to meet and to share the skills, knowledge, and the expertise in different manners. So thank you. As you said, my name is Abdallah Mikulu. I'm a youth from Tanzania. For those who don't know, Tanzania is located in East Africa. I am a climate reality leader. I'm very excited to be in that big platform regarding that. The founder himself is a former vice president of the United States of America. What kind of honor is that? Yes, I am a co-founder of a non-government organization, which is Mazinagira Plus. Mazinagira is a Swahili word, in English means environment. And the organization working on the area of climate action, environmental conservation, and livelihood projects in the rural Tanzania. Since 2020, we team from Mazinagira Plus and our colleague from other organizations like TCCI, UDEFO, and the ETE, teamed up and designed a project, which is mangrove restoration and protection project in a coast region of Tanzania. The reason we started that project was, first of all, we visited during the commemoration of World Mangrove Day in 2020, to plant and to mobilize and to sensitize the community on the importance of restoring and conserving the mangrove forests in Tanzania. So what we saw there, it was really bad situation, because there are some mangroves that was being affected, dead, and even the locals were used the mangrove to cut for their survival, to make charcoal, and even to cut some poles for building and then making some tools for fishing. So we said, okay, if this is the situation now, we as the change makers in our community said, okay, now we have to think with them together to find the common solutions towards the most pressing challenge that community is facing. Now, we did a lot of meetings with the community to define the real problems in the community. We did some public meetings with the local leaders, with the citizens over there, until we realized that the community understand what the problem is. Then we said, now what we should do. We, our organizations, plus the locals over there, we sat down and designed a well-drawn project, which is a mangrove restoration project. So within that, we said, okay, if we are going to conserve the mangroves, what the community should do in order to have a sense of sustainability within that. We said, okay, now we have to design some livelihood projects within them. It will improve their social and their economic situations in that community. Then we said we have to define what kind of these livelihood projects. The good thing is all these projects, they were designed by the community themselves. They formed the groups, other groups, women's, youth, and with the different ages in the community. Others elder, others young ones, teamed together, and they formed their common objectives in each specific group. It was voluntarily done. Some of them, they said, okay, we wanted to be ourselves in the beekeeping. And others said, oh, we want ourselves to be in the mangrove restoration and the nursery establishment. The other, oh, we want ourselves to be in the regenerative farming, agriculture. And others said, okay, we want to engage ourselves into social and ecological tourism in our community. So after realizing that, oh, people are motivated enough and they are real happy to work on that, then we went forward trying to mobilize some funds, donations, internal from Tanzania stakeholders, some companies, some of them, they are government official, regularly doing some real donations based on their capacity. Then we started those movements, visiting the village regularly, planting mangroves in the area where there was no mangroves, to restore. And then we said, okay, first off, we were collecting some of the propagules. Propagules are the seedlings, are the seeds of the mangrove, and then planting it directly into the soil. Then we found that there was some challenges. All those seeds, the survival rate was really difficult. It was low compared to the number of seeds that we planted. Then we said, okay, now we have to think another way around. After consultations and a meeting with the experts, they said, okay, having a nursery is a better way that can help the survival rate of the planted seedlings.
So you grow the trees before, take them over, and then replant them?
Yes.
Instead of just putting them from seed.
Yes. So they said that the seedlings from the nursery can ensure the survival rate. The percentage may raise maybe from 80 to 90%.
How large of an area are you covering? How many acres or
the
miles?
Mangrove, in that village, the mangrove forest, it's about 1,200 hectares. And currently, so far, we reached about a little bit half of it because of our capacity. So we planted in those areas because it's not bare land, but there were some spots that needs to be restored. So now we are half of that area. We intend to reach far if we can cover the entire area by the seeking of other stakeholders and the collaborations in a different ways and approach.
Now, is this land owned by the country, or is it private land, or is it public?
It's land that owned by the government. In Tanzania, the forest sector has a specific agency that dealing with that. It's called Tanzania Forest Agency, TFS. So according to the law, that agency is responsible of taking care the mangroves. So all mangroves forests are under that agency. So the area is owned by the government.
And then now what benefit to the country is that particular tree for? I mean, is it produce food? Is it produce shade? Is it why do you need that forest or the trees? I mean,
Yes, the mangrove forest has a specific benefits compared to other terrestrial forests. The mangrove, first of all, they are located, for those who don't know mangroves, they are located where river and the ocean meets, you know, so they called it delta. So in the delta zones where mangroves are mostly located, and these mangroves are very important, not only for the nation, but also for the worldwide, because these mangrove forests are best for the carbon sequestrations. It's a 5 to 10 more better compared to the terrestrial forests. But also the mangroves are the area where it's good for the breeding of fishes and the other ocean creatures, whereby even the turtle and the other species, fishes, whatever, they breeding in these mangrove forests, and then after hatching, they go dive to into the oceans. So it's very important for the ocean ecosystem. But also the mangroves, they absorb, they reduce the level of pollutions. Though they are so sensitive, but they reduce before the water entering into the ocean. So the mangrove forests are important, not only for the income or economy of a nation, but for the worldwide. They are very important.
do they absorb
Sorry.
like the carbon dioxide or the
Yes, yes. They absorb carbon dioxide 10 times more than other forests.
well,
Wow. Yeah.
Yes.
How did you get involved with the Climate Reality Corps?
Yes, it's a good question. This is fourth generation, so everything it is on the internet. So I found the advertisement that there is this recruitment process. There is this good platform. It's a worldwide platform, Climate Reality. So, and then that it was 2020, and it was a Corona era. So we were working at home. So it gave me an ample time to engage into climate reality cause. So I also convinced and shared the news with my friends. So we were there. So it was very interesting.
Yeah, I have found it very interesting too. And it's massive. It's a massive organization with people all over the world. Of course, I got my training when they were gearing up for the IRA, the Inflation Reduction Act, so that we could, talk about it to our communities, about what the effect would be and how it would be, help save the world. And for me, my advocacy is inviting people like you to talk about what people are doing around the world, because it's amazing. Because I'm also with We the World, And one of our campaign themes is the environment, and we are global, so we do outreach as much as we can. I mean, we've been around for a long time, but it's through the work of a few very dedicated volunteers, such as myself. And when I found out about what you were doing in Tanzania, I put that on our education camp, our environmental education campaign. And so you're everywhere.
Yeah, it's funny you called. I've always known as the country as Tanzania. I give it the different accent. But anyway,
Yeah, so we pronounce it different ways, don't we?
Tanzania.
How is the climate change affecting your country? I know over here I live in California, and there are many more fires, and many more flooding than ever before. And right now we're going through a heat wave in parts of this country. Other parts of the country are going through hurricanes and typhoons and tornadoes. Like out of sight, how is it affecting the environment of your country aside from the trees?
Thank you, Malcolm. It's a good question, and I was expecting it. You know, in Tanzania, it's quite different from America. The challenges of tornado, they are not here. But in our case, Tanzania, the climate change also affects the community at large. We normally experience the floods in so many parts of the Tanzania. We have experienced in some southern part of Tanzania, central part, and the other even in the eastern part of Tanzania. And most of the families and the households have been affected on that. Some death, even loss of properties, and even sometimes destruction of the physical infrastructure like roads and the railway. So that's the one angle. But also the issue of drought. You know, Tanzania, about 70% people depending on agriculture at the matter of fact, based on our economy. So if the droughts happen, then, and most of these farmers, they depend on the rainfall. So it's a rain-fed agriculture. So if it won't rain for the expected time, then the farmers, because they depend the natural rainfall, then they won't harvest. So that is another problem. And now there is a massive changes of rainfall pattern in Tanzania. So by the time where the farmers were expecting to rain, it doesn't rain. So then by the time it will start rain, they plant the seeds. Then the rain went off. So those seedlings and the other crops, they fail, you know. So then what happens? It's hunger, you know. So it's like a effect goes on now. So floods, drought, hunger, even sometimes the issue of diseases. Yeah, we have experienced this, some of the insects and pets, whatever. So climate change, I can say generally also in Tanzania, it's really affected by the climate change in various ways.
How do you keep hope alive for the youth and the farmers? And how do you keep hope alive?
Now the government and the other multilateral and the bilateral organizations and the local organizations coming up with the different strategies that can solve that issue. I also involved in the multi-stakeholder partnership on a climate action, aiming at developing some coping mechanisms, adaptation and the mitigation ways like introducing regenerative farming, whereby farmers and the local people can work on that to produce their food in their community. Is introducing some local currency mechanisms where now farmers and the local people can cope with that. But also the government level came up with the different ways. NDC, National Determined Contributions, the government adopted that. We have a policy, very good policy, National Environmental Policy, that addresses climate change. And last year, the government came up with a long-term plan, 10-year plan, which is also addresses some environmental and the climate challenges in the government level. So, but also we have some initiatives from the multilateral and the bilateral organizations helping the people in need who are really affected by the climate change. So the problem is big. The resources are not enough, like always. So, but at least those who get the resources to address it and to cope with it, at least now they're getting all those in need.
Yeah, yes. Speaking of resources, how are you financing your organization? Do you take donations? Are you supported by the government, or is it private funding?
Yeah, some donations, of course, grants, and the government. Normally here in Tanzania, what we at the NGOs sector, we are helping where government can't reach. So we are working all together. We are collaborating with the government, like processing and doing it all together. But it's not actually saying maybe they are providing money directly, no, but we are working together to solve those problems. They do whatever we need from the government, they provide with us. If it's a permittee, even sometimes their expertise, some regulations, guidelines, policies are there. So that's what the government is doing to help us implement that.
Now, are you having any problems with the law? I know in this country, like with large corporations that dig into the land and take out whatever it is that they could take out and leave the land a vast wasteland. Are there companies like that kill the forest and don't replenish it, or
Sorry, can you come again?
now are there companies that I forget where it was, parts of Africa where they're taking out the gold and where where they're digging, they just leave a vast wasteland, and what they dig with it goes into the ocean and pollutes the water and kills the fish.
Of course, there are some kind of challenges. Sometimes it happens, and the government, if they find that those kind of companies who are acting on those issues, what they do, they come up with the right measures. It was reported some few years back, there was some companies after digging after mining and even doing some investment issues, not only those mining sectors, even some of the companies maybe who are making tiles and whatever, after borrowing the resources, they leave the land bare and some holes without doing anything. So now, of course, it was reported there are some pollutions that are affecting rivers and even sometimes the big lakes in Tanzania, because there is no mines located in the eastern part, in eastern parts that go directly to the ocean, but they're taking to the rivers and then goes to the ocean. But the government, if it happens, the government using the experts to measure those effluents from the industries, if it to see what kind of chemicals comprises on that. If it will find that there is chemicals indeed, then it take a serious measure on that, like
I know
penalizing.
generally around the world, they say what's gonna cause World War III is not food, but water. That people,
Mhm.
don't have access to fresh water. And I know, I'm not sure in your country, but I know there are countries that people walk, 7, 8 hours a day to get water on a daily basis. How is the water situation in Tanzania?
Yeah,
Or Tanzania,
you know,
yeah.
Tanzania is a country that have so many water resources, starting from wetlands, rivers, oceans, and the lakes. So there are some challenges in parts of Tanzania where people cannot access water, but very few compared to many. Many are accessing the water now, and they are using that. It's about 70 to 80% of people have
That's good.
access the water, and that is what the government is doing to supply water the place where there is no those kind of services. And they in the landlocked areas where sometimes the pipelines and the distributions is hard, then they go there and they find the solution, like having the boreholes, big boreholes, and they distribute the communities where they need. So far, it's not bad, it's not good.
How about the wildlife situation? Because I know there are certain preservations where poachers are going in and killing off all the wildlife that they're not supposed to kill. And I think with the elephants and the rhinoceroses and the hippopotamuses, which is illegal hunting, I don't know the wildlife in your country. Is that endangered also?
Yeah, it's a good question. In around 2012 to 2015, it was reported in some documents like particularly the elephants are endangered ones, and maybe Tanzania, they mentioned about Selu Game Reserve. It lost about most of the elephants. So from 2015 to 2021, the situation was rejuvenated, and the elephants were many compared to before. So around 2010 to 2015, there was those kind of massive illegal poaching. But from 2015 to 2021, of course, I'm not saying it's not there, but sometimes it's a very challenging situation to deal with those poachers.
Yeah, they're more poachers and lawmen trying to stop them. That's a problem.
Yeah. So the situation now, like elephants and other animals, is not bad compared to 2015.
Yeah, because people are getting the elephants, even the rhinos, for their the ivory,
Mhm.
and they're killing them and leaving the dead bodies strewn all over, and just cutting off their tusks, the ivory.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, anyway, we're almost out of time. Is there anything that you'd like our audience to know? Remember, you're speaking to a worldwide audience.
Yeah, of course. For sure. What our organization is a local and the national, working with uh, people in need in our community. So whoever is watching this show, he has to understand that a little donation counts to many people who are in need, to many area where we can save the environment. If you donate $1, it means you plant one mangrove and save their life. So this is a right opportunity to call for those who are able to do their donations. They can also visit our website, which is www.mazingiraplus.or.tz.
Could you say that again, please? Slower.
Yeah, www.mazingiraplus.or.tz. I will type that and share with you. And also, they can also visit our social media, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, and the Instagram with the same name, Mazinagira Press, at
And
Mazinagira.
then I have Mazinagira Plus at gmail.com. That
Yes,
because you are the coordinator of this amazing project, and
yes.
wow, you have done some amazing work. And
Well,
Thank you.
I want to thank you very much for your contribution to the world. Because
Thank you.
as we're learning now, no matter where people are, whether they're, in your country, in Africa, in
Yeah.
Asia, and everybody contributes and everybody is affected. We're no longer
Sure.
isolated. Like I could talk to you now
Yeah.
in real time, which is amazing. And I'm old
Yeah.
enough that this is what's called, it blows my mind. And I'm talking to you in Africa now, and I'm in Southern California.
Yeah, thank you. And those who wish to visit Tanzania, they should not hesitate to see our amazing project. They can visit the area and even participate planting,
Well,
if
you have a very nice website too, and really,
thank you.
I have met so many amazing people through Leadership Corps, and you're one of them. And
Okay. Thank you.
I mean, I'm old enough to say that you look very young.
Yeah, sure. Definitely. Yes.
And what young people are doing in Africa, there are a lot of activists in Africa, and
And young to me, anyone under 60 is young. But anyway, guys,
Yeah.
we have to leave. We will
Okay.
follow up in another few months and have you back again.
Thank you very much,
and
Malcolm.
I'll
Jana.
be in touch with you too. So because we want to get this word out. So
All right. And remember, you're
Thank
listening
you.
to MalcolmPresents.com. The show is Malcolm and We. And you can hear this on you go to YouTube, you go to Malcolm Presents, or you go directly to MalcolmPresents.com.
and
Anyway,
we're on Facebook. And
And
we're on podcasts, so there's no excuse to not know about us.
and in fact, if you don't look, you can step on us. And thank you again, Abdallah.
Thank you, Malcolm and Jana. I
Okay.
love you all.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
The objective of the organization We the World is to facilitate cooperation on a global scale amongst groups and individuals dedicated to implementing solutions to the many challenges we face on the planet at this time.